Welcome back to the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. I'm Dr. Rob Sumner, and today you're joining me for part 2 of our Eat to Beat Disease series. And trust me, this is where things get really good. If you listen to episode 1, you now understand something most people go their entire lives without realizing. Food isn't just fuel, food is information. Food can literally switch your biology towards healing or towards disease. But here's the part almost no one understands. The part that Dr. Lee in his Eat to Beat Disease book uncovered, and the part that changed the way that I practice as a physical therapist and as a wellness coach. Your body has 5 built-in defense systems working 24/7 to protect you. These systems are repairing damage, they're preventing cancer, they're fighting inflammation, they're balancing your hormones, they're improving your energy, and they're literally keeping you alive, all without you even noticing. But here's the twist. These systems can be strengthened or weakened by your daily choices, especially by what you eat. So most people think they randomly develop disease or randomly start aging faster. But once you understand these 5 systems, you realize that nothing is random. Your body is constantly responding to what you feed it. It's constantly adapting. It's constantly trying to protect you. And today, we're going to walk through each of these systems in detail. And you're going to learn what each system actually does, what happens when it breaks down, what foods strengthen it, and how to begin activating these systems today. And I'm going to break it down in a simple way through some visual instruction and to make it extremely practical. So by the end of today's episode, you'll understand your own biology better than 99% of people. So if you're someone who's dealt with chronic inflammation, fatigue, slow healing, gut issues, or you have a family history of cancer or heart disease, this episode might be one of the most important things that you ever learn. And as always, we're going to connect all of this to the Wellness Ascension Roadmap, because no matter where you are in your health journey, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, these 5 systems are the foundation. So grab a pen, grab a notepad, or if you're watching a video, follow along as I sketch out these concepts on paper, because this is the kind of episode you want to save for later. You want to share, you want to come back to again and again. So let's first start with our health defense system, which is angiogenesis. This is the one that is responsible for building and pruning the 60,000 miles of blood vessels keeping you alive right now. All right. So let's get going. So most people have no idea that their life depends on 60,000 miles of blood vessels. And that's right. If you laid out your blood vessels end to end, they would wrap around the planet twice. And every one of those vessels is responsible for delivering oxygen, nutrients, immune cells, hormones, everything your body needs to survive. Now, here's the fascinating part. Your body is constantly modeling those vessels. They're taking them and remodeling them not once a year, but every single day. So your body makes new blood vessels when you need them and then prunes the old ones when you're not needing them anymore. And this tight balance is what we call angiogenesis. So think of blood vessels like roads. You build new ones when a neighborhood is growing. You close old ones when they're not being used anymore. You maintain the main arteries so traffic will continue to flow. So if you build too many roads, you get chaos. If you don't build enough, the whole town dies. So what happens when angiogenesis is out of balance? So when you have too many blood vessels, well, cancer loves this. Before a tumor can grow, it sends signals trying to hijack your angiogenesis system. Cancer demands a blood supply. And if it gets one, well, that's when everything can spread. That's when we get metastasis. So too few blood vessels, well, that also is a problem. So when you have too few blood vessels, you start getting slow wound healing. You start getting fatigue. You start getting poor circulation to the legs. You start getting erectile dysfunction. You start getting heart disease. And when you hear about someone with poor blood flow, that's angiogenesis out of balance. So let's make this practical. I once had a client with a stubborn diabetic wound on his foot. He wasn't healing, not because the skin didn't want to heal, but because the area had no blood supply. So the goal was to start improving his circulation by adding more angiogenic type foods. And the wound slowly started to close. So we have certain foods that we can eat that are pro-angiogenic, meaning that it feeds our health. I mean, it creates and promotes healthy blood vessels, allows them to grow for recovery, for wound healing, for circulation. So a couple examples would be different whole grains from barley to oats. These have different beta glucans that stimulate new vessel formation. They improve your heart and allow it to repair. You have certain seeds like flaxseed, chia seeds, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds. These all support micro circulation and healing. Well, what about apples? You have the apple peel, you have rosemary, you have peppermint, you have ginseng. These all act as a dual action. They support healthy growth and they block tumor vessels. Apple a day. What about capers? What about onions, red leaf lettuce, different chilies, different cranberries, plums? These all enhance wound healing and they also reduce inflammation. And then you have your citrus fruits that have the vitamin C's, the flavonoids. These strengthen your vessels. These strengthen the vessel walls and they allow more collagen formation. So those are foods that help support healthy angiogenesis. So you have other foods that help your body prevent excessive blood growth. So that's important too, because we want to now create less blood growth. That's important as well. We want less vessel formation. Why? Because cancer's favorite trick is to hook up its cells that are starting to proliferate to a blood supply. And once it does that, it has full access to all the nutrients and presence of mediators that allows it to grow rapidly. And then two, it can spread throughout the body. So at times we need to prevent excessive blood vessel growth. Things such as cooked tomatoes, green tea, matcha, turmeric, different berries, red grapes, broccoli sprouts, olive oil. These all assist in preventing excessive blood vessel growth. And that's the key word, is excessive, not blood vessel growth, excessive. So think of tomatoes too. These are the #1 dietary source of lycopene. And Dr. Lee's research really showed that lycopene can shrink abnormal blood vessel growth in about 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks. So let's take a look at this. I have a quick little visual that for the ones that are listening on our podcast, just note that I'm drawing a hill. And this is my example of angiogenesis. So this is the formation of blood vessels. So think of cancer itself. Cancer is a little C cell that starts building and growing into more and more cells. And once those cells start to grow enough, they want a blood supply. And I want you to think that a blood supply is at the top of this hill. That is the formation of more blood vessels. You're going to continue to get more growth. So the key for us is we want to eat things like tomatoes. So think of our friend the tomato. We want to eat things like green tea. Okay? So with that, that's going to create, in a way, on this hill, a nice fence. So even if these cancer cells start to proliferate, as they start to try and grow and grow and grow, we're putting a block on the angiogenesis process with these two food ingredients that are preventing this growth of cancer cells. And remember, at the top of the hill is a full blood supply. So if these cancer cells cannot get a full blood supply, then the body's own immune system could come in and destroy them. It can get rid of them. And that's what we want. We want to limit the amount of growth that these cancer cells can actually do. Therefore, if we eat the right foods, we can prevent that formation occurring with limiting the blood supply. Okay, so what's the second system? The second system that we have is stem cell repair. So when we look at stem cell repair, your body is a constant construction site, 24/7. Every day the cells are dying, they're getting damaged, they're wearing out. So how do you not fall apart? Why don't we just die sooner than we do? Well, it's your stem cells. These stem cells are like your body's emergency repair workers. They're carpenters, they're electricians, they're plumbers, they're roofers, they're all rolled into one. And if you injure your knee, your stem cells rush in to fix it. If your liver takes a hit from alcohol, your stem cells regenerate new tissue. If your skin gets sunburnt, the stem cells rebuild it. And here's the catch. Stem cells become less active with age unless you stimulate them. So when regeneration to these stem cells are strong, you get faster healing, less inflammation, better muscle tone, you get youthful skin, you get better organ function. But when these stem cells decline, you feel old. You slow recovery. Even after your workouts, you have more joint pain, you have more muscle loss, you have more brain fog. You need those stem cells to keep you from aging. So you can eat certain foods that will boost your stem cell activity, such as dark chocolate, has to have a greater than 70% cocoa factor. Olive oil, even coffee, black beans, blueberries, chili peppers, sardines, kiwi, all of these help to boost stem cell activity. I mean, olive oil contains compounds that triple the number of circulating stem cells within hours. So I want to make this applicable. One of my clients in her late 60s had trouble healing after an ankle surgery. We improved her regenerative support through food, more polyphenols, more olive oil, more daily berries, and her swelling finally began to go down. Her surgeon even said, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because that's regeneration. So I want you to visualize a muscle. Okay, so I'm going back to drawing a diagram. I'm drawing a tendon at the bottom. I got a muscle, big, nice muscle, another tendon at the top. We have these striations in the muscle. But let's say we start getting some tissue breakdown in the muscle. And it's starting to accumulate. So we're getting joint stiffness. We're getting soreness in the muscle. We're cramping easily. So when we eat the right foods and we stimulate our stem cells are like the Band-Aids. They come in and they regenerate this. So they put a Band-Aid over that wound and they allow it to heal quicker, faster, and it allows the right properties to be in place to help heal it. So think of them as, this is a stem cell with a hard hat. These guys come in with their little hat. They're construction workers, electricians. All these guys come in and they repair this 24/7. And they do that primarily in the evening while you're sleeping under deep REM sleep. That's why it's so important to get proper sleep. Okay, stem cell repair. That's what we're looking at here. They are the Band-Aid and construction workers that continue to build that up. That is your second defense system. Well, we have our third defense system. We have the microbiome. Now, this one is one of my favorites. And that's because it affects everything that we do. Everything that we do. You have 39 trillion gut bacteria outnumbering your own human cells. You are literally more bacteria than you are human. And these bacteria do far more than just help digestion. They influence your immune system, your hormones, your mood, your cravings, your weight, your inflammation, your energy, your sleep. Everything has to do with your gut biome. So when your microbiome is healthy, everything works better. When you balance your microbiome, you get a balanced body. So your gut bacteria will produce different B vitamins, short chain fatty acids, anti-inflammatory compounds. They're going to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin that affects our mood. Again, 90% of the serotonin that your body produces, your happy chemical, is made in your gut. If you wreck your gut, you wreck your mental health. Period. And when your microbiome is damaged, this is where trouble starts. You get more gas, more bloating, more irritable bowel syndrome. You get sugar cravings. You get anxiety, depression, autoimmune issues, weight gain, joint pain, brain fog. Does it sound like you? Could be the microbiome, because a weakened microbiome also means that your immune system is half asleep. So there are certain foods that can strengthen your microbiome, and they're usually fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut. These are fermented because they have bacteria already in them, and when you consume them, it goes down into your stomach and it joins the other microbiome. It makes a more diverse microbiome. So those fermented foods increase the production of more healthy bacteria. But fiber is essential. You have soluble, insoluble fiber, things like beans, lentils, oats, broccoli, asparagus. There's so much fiber in these. That is what your microbiome eats. So you have to eat fiber to feed your gut. When your gut is happy, your body is happy. So you have to feed your gut, and you're going to feed it with fibers. That's what makes them happy. And the last bit is you have polyphenols. We need to eat polyphenols such as berries, green tea, olive oil, nuts. These are antioxidants, and these help keep inflammation low, so that every time you eat fiber, your gut bacteria screams, "Thank you, thank you." And then they ferment it, and they turn it into short chain fatty acids that repair your gut lining and reduce inflammation. So think of this. Here's a real story for you. A patient came into me with consistent joint pain, had a whole bunch of constant fatigue. She really just didn't know what to do. And we ended up cleaning up her gut. And we added more fermented foods. We increased the polyphenols. We removed all the processed sugars. And within 3 weeks, her joint pain literally decreased by 50%. Her blood work already showed reduced inflammation. And that truly is the microbiome at work. So I want you to visualize. Again, I'm going to the drawing, and I want you to visualize your microbiome. Okay. So what I'm drawing is your gut. And I want you to visualize that inside your gut, we want peace. We want happiness. We want smiles. Well, what's going to produce smiles? Well, one is the more fiber that we can feed it that is around and inside your gut, then that creates more of a smile. Your microbiome will feed on this and will produce more anti-inflammatories and will allow the gut to repair itself. So we want that fiber. Well, what about polyphenols? Well, again, we want more of these. We want these in and around the gut here, and this acts as a massive anti-inflammatory. So these microbiome bacteria, again, are happy. They want that. And the last bit is we want fermented foods. So around here, this gut, and in the gut, I'm putting fermented foods, okay? And what does that do? That gives more abundance of bacteria. We get a higher number of diverse bacteria that allows them to continue to grow. Well, why is this important? Well, we know that things like antibiotics will destroy our gut biome. So we need to constantly be feeding the gut with new and healthy bacteria that comes from fermented foods such as Greek yogurts, the sauerkrauts. All of these help to create more of a diverse gut load. And that will allow us to have a better mood, reduce inflammation, and overall create a happier body. All right. The fourth way that we can defend our body is through our DNA protection repair. So your DNA is under attack constantly from stress, from pollution, from pesticides, alcohol, poor food choices, sunlight, free radicals, aging. Your cells experience tens of thousands of DNA breaks every single day. And yet most people don't get cancer. They don't get sick constantly, and they don't age overnight. Why? Why? Because DNA has its own repair crew. So imagine a team of mechanics repairing broken rails on a train track 24/7. So when DNA repair is strong, well, that slows aging, that lowers inflammation, that creates a stable metabolism, that lowers your disease risk. But when DNA repair is weak, now we get rapid aging. That's why a person in their 60s looks like they're 90. That's why a person in their 30s looks like they're 60. You get rapid aging. You get chronic inflammation. They hurt all the time. They feel weak. Everything aches. They have a higher cancer risk. They have brain aging. They get premature dementia, Alzheimer's, brain fog. They get organ decline. We start seeing that the organs can't keep up, from the pancreas, the kidneys, the livers, the heart, other. So we need to eat foods that also support DNA repair, such as pomegranate, carrots, green tea, olive oil, berries, rosemary, broccoli, omega-3 rich foods. These all help support DNA repair. I mean, carrots alone contain carotenoids that directly shield DNA, and it shields it from oxidative damage. I mean, pomegranate juice has been shown to enhance repair enzymes. So take a real client in our office. That I had a client that had extremely high oxidative stress. It was just apparent. And we added daily pomegranates and berries, increased leafy green vegetables. We switched out from all of the seed oils that she was eating and started adding olive oil. And within a month, her labs started to improve dramatically. And that's what we want. We want to eat to repair disease. So I want another visual here. I want you to think, and I'm going to, for my listeners, I'm drawing a double helix on my paper, which is just a spiral, and that represents DNA, okay? And I want you to visualize that there are cracks in this DNA that can occur. So when we eat certain foods, we have the ability to repair our DNA itself. Without that repair in the DNA, we get increased aging, inflammation, and more, breakdown in our organs. But if we could come in and eat things like blueberries, pomegranate, it could come in and start repairing these breaks. That's essential. That's essentially what your food is going to do, is to repair these breaks. So then we have a better chance of aging well, aging longer, have less pain, less chronic inflammation, and overall your body is smiling. And that leads us to our last defense system, which is immunity. This is your defense army. Your immune system is not just one thing. It's a coordinated army with scouts, soldiers, snipers, cleanup crew, memory banks, and different communication officers. And when it's balanced, it keeps you alive. When it's balanced, it works perfectly. But when it's unbalanced, everything starts to fall apart. So think of weak immunity. You get frequently sick. You get chronic infections. You get cancer risk. You get fatigue. You're slow to heal. But when you have an overactive immune system, well, that's not good either. Your overactive immunity leads to allergies, leads to autoimmune disorders, leads to chronic inflammation. So the key with immunity, balances everything. So foods that strengthen our immune system are things like mushrooms, garlic, onions, citrus fruits, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, turmeric, ginger. I mean, mushrooms contain beta-glucans that rehearse the immune system, making it more responsive. Garlic contains different bioactives that act like a natural antiviral immune enhancer. I mean, if you think of disease as a vampire, garlic is the antidote. It prevents it. So one of my clients that was constantly coming in for our Premier Personal Training program always had chronic sinus infections all the time. He talked to me about this, about being an issue, and we decided to just start adding mushrooms daily. Started adding garlic every night, and then also increased his citrus fruit consumption, whole foods, not supplements. And within 8 weeks, there's a change in the immune profile. It improved dramatically, and he reported a lot fewer infections. And that's kind of the idea. The idea, again, going to the board, is we have a shield that acts as our defense. And we need that. We need that shield because that is our immunity. And we need things like garlic. We need things like mushrooms. We need things like citrus fruits. I'm drawing all of these on my shield. I drew a shield, and now we have mushrooms. We have green tea. We have citrus foods. We have garlic. These also all act like a shield for our immune system. And they allow us to stay strong and not have too much immunity or too little. And that is key. We need that balance. So, all right, let's take a deep breath. We just went through the 5 most powerful systems in the body. And if you're anything like the thousands of people that I've showed this to, you're probably thinking, why wasn't I taught this years ago? And honestly, I ask myself the same thing, because we grow up hearing about dieting, we hear about calories, we hear about macros, we hear about quick fixes, but almost nobody teaches us about how our own biology works. Nobody shows us that we already have a healing system inside of us. Nobody explains that the foods can activate our stem cells, it can starve cancer, it can strengthen our immunity, it can balance our microbiome, it can literally repair DNA damage every single day. But now you know. And that knowledge is power, especially when it's this kind of knowledge. So let me give you a few big takeaways from today's episode. Your body wants to protect you. It's not working against you. It's not randomly aging or breaking down. It's doing everything it can to heal itself, as long as you give it the right signals. So number 2, every food choice is a micro decision that nudges these systems. We don't have to worry about perfection. We just need direction. You're either nudging towards healing or you're nudging towards harm. Every bite matters, but not in a restrictive way. It's in an empowering way. Number 3, you don't need exotic superfoods. Most of the foods that we're talking about today are things that you could buy at any grocery store. Green tea, tomatoes, mushrooms, berries, olive oil, yogurt, garlic, beans, veggies. Pretty standard. These are simple, powerful, everyday tools. And number 4, you have way more control over disease risk than you think. Genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. These 5 systems are how you take control back. Now, on the next episode, this is where the rubber meets the road, because information is great, but application is where transformation happens. So in the next episode, I'm going to talk about how to build meals that support all 5 defense systems. We're going to talk about Dr. Lee's strategy, which is the 5x5x5 framework. We're going to show you how to design a week of eating that activates health. We're going to show you the easiest foods to add immediately so it's effortless, and how to make this sustainable, not overwhelming, because that's what we need. We need to make it applicable to your life. And we're also going to add how this fits into the 10 stages of the Wellness Ascension Roadmap. So whether you're in stage 1, so you're just becoming aware, or you're in stage 10, where you're dialing in advanced longevity, this framework will apply to you. And if you want help identifying your exact stage on the roadmap, or you just want some personalized coaching through this kind of transformation, then you can send me an email at rob@Sumner, SUMNER, my last name, P as in Paul, T as in Tom.com, rob@SumnerPT.com, or you could call our office. You could find us on any socials, and my team and I will walk you through your starting point and your clear next steps, because the goal is to improve our health and our wellness. So I'll leave you with this thought. Your body is on your side. Your biology is not broken. You are designed to heal, and food is one of the greatest tools that you have. So take that knowledge into this next week, make one small upgrade to your eating pattern, and give your body something it can use to defend you. And if you want a full list of foods for each of these 5 systems, stay with me, shoot me that email, and tell me that you'd like to have the 5 different defense system food list, and we'll send that over to you as well. All right, I'll see you in part 3, where we put it all into practice. Bless all of you.